Welcome to our channel. In this video, I talked about how to deal with fraud. There are many ways to handle this situation. One way is to use data analysis, which means looking closely at the numbers and information we have to understand what's going on. Another way is to conduct audits, which means checking everything carefully to make sure everything is correct and in order. All of these things help protect businesses from scammers. Fraud can happen in many ways, like with cell phones, insurance claims, taxes, credit cards, and even when the government buys things. Because of this, businesses and governments need special tools to find fraud. These tools come from fields like collecting and studying data, teaching computers to learn, and using numbers to make predictions. They help catch people who commit fraud before they can cause too much damage. The main reason businesses use data analysis tool is that sometimes the systems they have in place to stop fraud are not good enough. For example, the police might only find out about a fraud case if someone tells them about it. This means that a lot of fraud can slip through the cracks. To fix this problem, companies and organizations use special tools like data mining, data matching, sounds like functions, regression analysis, clustering analysis, and gap analysis. These tools help them test their systems, find any weaknesses, and make sure they are not missing any fraud. There are two main types of techniques for detecting fraud: statistical methods and artificial intelligence. Statistical methods are based on looking at patterns in the data, while artificial intelligence methods use computers to learn and make decisions like humans do. Both types of methods can be very helpful in finding fraud. However, using these tools, businesses can improve their systems and catch the more fraud cases, making their financial operations more secure. Through a special program, the company shows that it really cares about following good rules and building a work environment where everyone works together to stop fraud. This means that everyone is expected to believe in the company's values and tell someone if they see anything suspicious happening. Employees might be hesitant to speak up because they are worried about losing their jobs. That's why it's important for senior management to create a system that encourages everyone to share information freely. One way to do this is by setting up fraud hotlines where employees can report suspicions without fear. The fraud management policy should spell out that it's every employee's responsibility to report fraud when they see it. The policy should also explain that the company will protect anyone who reports fraud honestly and in good faith. The goal is to make sure everyone feels safe and supported when they come forward. The company can set up a database to track fraud incidents and the progress of investigations. This helps management spot trends and patterns so they can figure out what's causing problems and fix them. It's also important to make sure that everyone gets proper training on how to spot and prevent fraud. This training should be tailored to each department so it's relevant and effective. To really encourage employees to get involved, the company could even offer rewards or recognition for finding and reporting fraud. That way, everyone feels like they are part of the solution and their efforts are valued. The company should have its own internal system for employees to confidentially report suspected fraud. This could be as simple as a phone number or an email address where they can reach out to a specific department or committee dedicated to investigating fraud. This way, employees know they can trust their informations will be handled discreetly and fairly. Let us talk about a few simple steps to protect yourself from fraud when using the internet or mobile phone. Use a mix of rule-based validations, real-time risk analysis, machine learning, and anomaly detection to catch different types of fraud. Make sure your transactions are secure by using biometric verification like facial recognition and liveness detection. This way, it's easier to make sure it's really you doing the transactions. Keep your computer, phone, and other devices up to date with the latest software updates to close any security holes. Use different passwords for each of your accounts and enable two-factor authentication when available. Check your bank statements, credit reports, and online accounts regularly to make sure everything looks right. If you see anything suspicious, tell your bank and the police right away. Be careful with emails, text, or calls from people you don't trust asking for personal information. Don't click on links or download files from them. Fraud can happen when you buy things online in many ways. Scammers send fake emails or messages that look like they are from a real company, asking for personal info like your login info, credit card number, or bank account number. Once they have it, they can use it to take your money or make purchases. Bad people can get your private information in many ways. They might trick you into giving it to them or hack into a company's computers. They can use it to steal your identity, take your money, or blackmail you. Some fraudsters pretend to be you and make purchases or take out loans in your name. They can use your information to open new credit cards, take out loans, or even sell your info on the dark web. Scammers use stolen credit card numbers to make small fake purchases to see if the card is still good. If it works, they know they can use it to make a bigger fraudulent purchases. Viruses or bad software called malware can infect your computer or phone. Once it's in there, it can steal your info or make unauthorized purchases. Sometimes customers lie and say they didn't get something they ordered, even if they really did. This is called friendly fraud, and it can be very frustrating for businesses. Fraudsters might figure out your login info or use a weak password to get into your account. Then you can make purchases or take money out of your account. Scammers make fake apps or websites that look real to trick you into giving them your info. Once they have it, they can steal your identity or infect your device with viruses. Criminals put devices on ATMs or places where you swipe your card to steal your credit card info. Then they can use it to make purchases or sell it to someone else. Fraudsters will make purchases with stolen credit cards and then dispute the charges, saying they never got what they paid for. This can cost businesses money and make it look like they are not trustworthy. These are just some of the ways that people commit fraud online. To stay safe, be careful with your personal info. Don't give it out unless you are sure you can trust the person or company asking for it. Keep your software up to date, use strong passwords, and watch out for these scams. Organizations should set up a clear channel for people to report fraud. This can be a special email address or phone number. It should be handled by a separate team so that the information stays confidential. This makes it easier for us to investigate. Internal auditors are also important in investigating fraud. They work independently from management and report directly to a board of directors. They have the power to investigate and collect evidence both inside and outside the company. Sometimes they even interview the people who committed the fraud. External auditors make sure our financial records are correct and fair. They don't usually investigate fraud, but if they see anything suspicious, they will let us know. Then we will take a closer look and find out what happened. To catch any tricky accounting tricks, external auditors plan their audits carefully and make sure they cover all their bases. This helps us spot any red flags and keep our records straight. The best way to stop fraud is to create a culture where everyone does the right thing. This starts with having good leaders who encourage honesty and transparency. It also means using the right tools and techniques to find problems early on. Fraudsters are always coming up with new ways to trick us. We need to use a combination of human intelligence and advanced technology to catch them before they can cause too much damage. It's proven that using machine learning helps companies catch fraud much faster and earlier than before. ML is a type of artificial intelligence that makes fraud detection and prevention better than ever. It does this by learning from data in real time and getting better at spotting fraud as it goes along. Fraudsters are always coming up with new ways to trick people, so having a tool like ML that can adapt to new threats is really important. Supervised machine learning algorithms look at data and learn what's normal, then flag anything that doesn't fit the pattern. This helps companies stop fraud before it even happens. Unsupervised machine learning is like having a fraud fighting detective who just goes around looking for anything suspicious. It doesn't need anyone to tell it what to look for, it just finds it. This can be really useful in catching fraud what might have slipped through the cracks with other methods. When you combine supervised and unsupervised machine learning, you get this powerful team called an ensemble model. It covers all kinds of fraud risks, both new and old, and finds a good balance between stopping fraud and not raising false alarms. Machine learning makes fraud detection systems much smarter. They can learn and update their own rules for spotting fraud. Since machine learning looks at a lot of data, it can figure out what's normal and what's not. This helps the system stay ahead of fraudsters and keep improving. Use different methods of fraud detection at the same time. By combining different machine learning techniques, it catches fraud better than using just one method. Automate the process of investigating fraud. Fraud investigators used to spend a lot of time collecting information about suspects. But with machine learning, the system can gather data, run queries, and get info from other sources without any help from people. This saves investigators a lot of time and effort. Machine learning is the future of stopping fraud. It's like having a super smart partner who keeps learning and getting better at fighting fraud as new threats come up. So if you are in the business of stopping fraud, you should definitely use it. Financial institutions are starting to see the benefits of using big data analytics to bring together information from different areas of their businesses. Instead of keeping this data in separate boxes, they are trying to get a complete picture of risks. There is a lot of overlap in the data, and rules and regulations are forcing us to find risks in real time. This approach can also help reduce cost and make us more efficient. For instance, when a bank is reviewing a loan application or deciding whether to approve payment transactions, they can learn from each experience. In the fight against money laundering and terrorist financing, this becomes even more important. As payments get faster and faster, banks need to be able to adapt quickly to keep up with what customers expect. But this also means that the risk landscape gets more complicated. Online and mobile banking are changing how customers expect to be verified, and banks need to find new ways to protect themselves from fraud. By looking at how customers behave, what devices they use, and the specifics of each transaction, bank can get a better sense whether something is legitimate or not. Some banks are taking this step further by looking for patterns in data that can help them find criminal organizations that might have been missed if they only looked at one part of their business. This kind of working together across different parts of the business is very important to stay ahead in the fast-moving world of finance today. We all know that it's important for businesses to know who they are dealing with. This is called the Know Your Customer (KYC) process, but sometimes it can be hard to keep track of everything. Make sure digital devices and people applying for things are safe and authenticated faster. Use robots to help with those long and boring searches and checks of third-party information when we need to be extra careful. Help us keep track of new information like who owns what and who really makes decisions. Give investigators an easy way to find information quickly, like numbers, words, pictures, and even videos. And their special image recognition technology using natural language processing has made it much faster to search through and understand documents. Thanks for watching this and engaging with us. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, I would like to receive your support. Please give it a like, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel.